Do you want me to share what I have? Let me see if I, let me even see if this will
Welcome
work.
to another episode of Latino World Travelers uh, Travel Party, but virtually. So here
Virtually,
I'm
I
gonna
love it.
welcome Jeanine. She's gonna talk to us today about Spain, and I cannot wait to hear everything about it. So let's go.
Yes. Okay, so I first visited Spain back in 2011. That feels like forever ago. And on my first trip, I went to San Sebastian, Pamplona for the running of the bulls, and Barcelona.
Oh.
So I don't know, I just fell in love with everything, all the food, like how beautiful the architecture was. And it was a really cool experience. The running of the bulls was really intense, and the Spanish really know how to party. It was a lot of fun. Hey, Alyssa.
Hi, she made it! Yay!
Baby's asleep.
Good.
Yay. um,
So for the running of the bulls, how do you plan that? Do you have to plan in advance? What does it take to actually be in the race? Or do you just join in? Like how does that work?
yeah, so I don't know if it's really different now. When I went, we had to, okay, it's a small town. Pamplona is a small town. So or it's smaller. It's not like it's super tiny, but you want to book a place to stay in advance. Like we ended up staying a little bit on the outskirts. So I can't even remember how much it cost to get a taxi, but things book up really quickly there. It's a complete party. So it's just like a big festival. Everyone's throwing sangria on each other. And at first you're like, why are people wasting sangria? But like they sell them in like boxes, kind of like how you get like soy milk.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they sell it in like boxes like that, and they're like, like the euro, €2 for like a quart or however big that is, and everyone's just like spraying each other with it. Um, so I don't know what time it is, if it's like 12 o'clock, noon, or what it was. I can't remember, but you just all go to like the plaza in the middle of the town. And it's like a lot of the other plazas in Spain, or like, just, different parts of Europe. There's like the apartment buildings that are all around, and people are standing outside of their balconies, and they're like throwing the sangria or throwing water for whatever reason. And it's just a big party. And so everybody's dressed in all white.
Oh
Um,
wow.
I didn't know that you had to dress in all white, so we're like scrambling around to like find white clothes. I got these really weird like white pants, and then this touristy shirt. So running of the bulls also goes by San Fermin, which is, I guess, I don't know what they call it over there.
Mhm.
And then you also wear a red bandana, so you wear it like around your neck. And then there's some like thing that happens where, so everybody's in the plaza, and you're all waiting, you're all like, with your big group of friends, which it was really fun to see, because you could just tell like everyone just like all like, meeting up all their friends. I don't know how they meet. They're just like, hey, we're in this little corner over here, whatever. Everyone just seems to know where to meet up.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's like this thing that everyone does it together. They like lift their bandana up, and then they say something, and then they put it on, and then after that everyone starts like walking somewhere. So we had no idea what we were doing. It was me and my friend Melissa. And we're just like, okay, let's
Let's
go.
just follow the people.
Yeah, so we were just following them. We're like, okay, what's going on? um we actually, I don't know, she did more research than she just I don't know, we kind of like put this trip together. And we actually got because we went to some other cities in Europe, and so it was kind of like this Euro trip that was supposed to be like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the Eurail pass, so we got the one where we could hop on as many trains as we wanted to. So
Mm-hmm.
we just took the train everywhere.
The U rail
um,
is just for Spain or all of Europe?
for all of Europe.
Okay.
Um, I feel like it's really different now because when I tell people that, they're like, oh my God, that must have been so expensive. And I mean, it was expensive, but I guess for the amount of trains, I don't know, we thought it made sense. But I mean, also this was 9 years ago. So I didn't know all the things I know now about travel. Um, I know now that I rather um, take the bus around Europe, or like especially if it's like a shorter distance, or I don't know, the buses are just a lot cheaper. So if it makes sense, if the distance is, if it's not that long time wise, if it's not that big of a difference time wise, I rather take a
Mhm.
bus because it's a fraction of the price. But sometimes the trains make more sense because there's bullet trains. um, or yeah, just looking into alternatives. Like there's also, I don't know if you girls know about this, but there's something called blah blah car, and it's like a car, kind of like a carpool type thing. You pay, but it's pretty much like you're contributing more towards gas. It isn't like they're trying to make money off you. It's like, hey, I have, you know, 2 extra seats in my car, and I'm gonna go from Sevilla to Granada. Like, it's pay the 10 euros instead of the 14-15 euros that you would pay in for a train or for a bus. So
I didn't know about that. Thank you.
yeah, I didn't learn about that until maybe 2 years ago. And then I was taking it. um, it's not always super reliable because it's people, and it's up to them if they want to like commit to the trip. Like sometimes they're like, oh, they cancel it kind of last minute, but that's kind of the chance you take. I think it's only happened to me, I think, in one city, and I just ended up getting, I think, the train out of there. So it's always a good alternative, but I mean, with everything, you want to kind of have a backup plan. Um, but going back to running of the bulls, okay, so we're walking, right? We're like, where are we going? What's going on? We both told each other, okay, we're not actually running with them, right? Like, I don't want to die. I don't have insurance. Like, it it's not going to be good if one of us decides to run. So we're like, all right, cool, we're not going to do it. Um, so I think we did a little bit of research, and there's a stadium that you could go to, and we didn't know exactly what was going to happen in this stadium, but it's a bull ring. And so instead of lining up, because okay, so there's one street where all of the bulls run, and all of the people, or whoever wants to run with them, run as well. And then there's people on the sides, but these are like smaller. It's like a smaller, it's not an alleyway, but it is a smaller street. So it's really cramped. So there's people on the sides, and then there's the people running. And of course, like if you're running and you freak out, you're going to go to the side, and you don't know if a bull is going to go to the side too and
Mhm.
run into you and the people. So we're like, that's not happening. Um, so I think we kind of we walked past that area, and then we went directly into the bull ring, not into the ring itself, but like the stadium part.
Mhm.
um, so we were there, and then there's just a bunch of, I want to call them dumbass people. I mean, some of them are probably, they know what they're doing, but I think there was a lot of like dumbass tourists, and some people who were already pretty tipsy from all that sangria, because they didn't just throw it on them, they were drinking it too. um, so there were people there, and then all of a sudden, I think there were like some dances. something happened, and then the bulls started coming in. And
Mm.
they're like legit, like they're coming in and people are like trying to like dodge them. We saw a couple people like get hit. Like I was so far back that I didn't see like blood, but I mean, it looked like people were getting like gouged. Um, and I mean, I don't know what the statistics are. I'm pretty sure that there have been plenty of accidents.
Mhm.
Um, it doesn't look good. It's entertaining, but then you're like, this is real. This is, I
Yeah.
don't know. And then it
So
depends on how you feel about animals.
I know. Do you recommend that people stay inside the area or outside the area? I'm talking about like proximity to parties, but then do you want to be close to the noise when you're trying to sleep at night, or you know?
Right. I think it kind of depends on how you feel. Like, we didn't necessarily want to party. We wanted to experience it. And at that time, like, I was pretty chill. My friend Melissa, she was really chill at that time. So we were just like, okay, like, we want to be a part of this experience, but we were okay, like, staying away from the actual, like, town itself. I was definitely fine with it. I think if you do want to be a part of that party, definitely book in advance and, you know, get into the town itself.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't even know how far in advance you want to book something. I mean, this might be something that you book like 9 to 12 months out.
Mhm. And when
Um,
is it? In what month?
it's in July.
Okay.
So I don't even know if it's going to happen this year
Mm.
with everything that's going on, right? Like,
Mhm.
so, um,
So after you go to the stadium, do they actually killed every single one of the bulls?
so after like they kind of go around, there's like professionals that come in and they like go out of that little door. So, I mean, from what I know is that they kill them after. They don't kill them like in front of anyone.
Okay.
But they didn't know
But
they
yeah.
died. I thought they would just capture them and then put them in cages.
Well, I know that they
No, I
kill them
think
like
they
in
kill them.
legit like bullfights.
Do they eat them too? Like after they kill them, they just let it rot.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna ask about the
I
eating
don't
part.
know. I don't know that. I
I mean,
mean, the
that's
right thing to
quick
do.
if you kill like a big animal like that. Might as well do sancocho with it or something.
Right. Like, yeah, if you're gonna do that, like eat it, right? Like make use of it. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
I'm sure they use it for something,
Yeah.
right?
And I mean, I don't even know if they necessarily kill them. That was kind of the what we had heard. I don't know if this is true or not. I want to say I've also heard like if a bull kills a fighter, then they definitely kill the bull.
Mm-hmm.
Um, no sé. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I mean, for me, I'm like, this was a long time ago. And actually, I think I was vegetarian at the time. So I don't even know why I was so like, yeah, let's do this. Let's go. It definitely is an experience. And I hope I'm not like turning anyone off to it who's interested, because it is a really cool experience. I'm glad I like checked it off. I don't need to do that again.
Mm-hmm.
um, but it was cool. I think if you do have interest in it, it's worth checking out. And I'm sure, like, I don't know, I feel like we get more educated as the years go on, and more, like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing that. So I'm sure like there's regulations have changed, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe they don't let just anyone go into the bull ring. I mean, I hope not, because it was not pretty. Like, it was
I can
entertaining, but
imagine.
damn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
So,
actually looked it up. They do send the bulls to the slaughterhouse, and it is for human consumption. So there is a famous restaurant in Madrid, Café Torino, who all they serve is bulls.
oh, wow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had bull.
That's now in my checklist. Like, when am I gonna go back to Spain and try bulls?
Right?
I'm surprised Vanessa hasn't had it yet. She eats all these
I'm
animals.
surprised too. I've been to
Ostrich.
Next time, right?
next time. Yes. So you lived in a couple of cities in Spain as well.
Yeah, so last summer I lived in Barcelona for a couple months, which was a lot of fun. I thought I was gonna go there and, just explore, but also kind of like, okay, I really need to focus on like my freelancing, and I'm gonna focus on writing more and doing all this. But instead I was just drinking wine on rooftop bars like almost every night. Which obviously, isn't a total waste, right? That was a lot of fun.
That's
Um,
research.
I I really enjoyed it. I got to see a lot of the city. I got to see things on the outskirts that I really wanted to see. Um, yeah, like after 2 times visiting Barcelona, I was like, I really want to spend more time there. I mean, I would have loved to like stay there longer term, but the visa situation is a little tricky, so that didn't happen. But it's a lot of fun. It's a really fun place to just, I mean, not even party, just like enjoy life. But the downside to that is it is harder living there. Like day in, day out was hard because, especially if you're in the center, and not even like the center, like just like within like, the main or neighborhoods of Barcelona, there's just such a buzz going on. Like you will not be able to sleep until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning at the earliest there. It was
Wow.
so hard to like if I wanted to go out on an adventure, or I was catching like a flight the next day at 6 a.m., it was so hard to go to sleep just because there's like always something going on. There's like, you feel the energy there.
Mhm.
So living versus visiting is completely different. I mean, it's fun being on holiday there, but then when you actually like have to do certain things, you're like, oh, okay, this is a little hard. It took a lot getting used to,
Mhm.
and but I mean, it was so much fun. I absolutely loved it. I mean, going to places and just grabbing like little bites of tapas and stuff like that was a lot of fun.
Did you have a place
Drinking.
that was like your go-to place that you loved it and you went so many times because you just loved it?
I don't know if I had like a go-to place. I mean, there were a couple. I liked going to. There were a couple rooftop bars that I liked going to. Um, the rooftop at Hotel Colon is really pretty because it overlooks the cathedral.
Mhm.
And then another one is, I think it's called Ooh La La at Hotel something. I'll have to, hold on, let me check it real quick. Because I
Is
hate when I'm like
the
wrong.
Hotel Colon the one in the picture that we posted?
Yes, yes.
Ah,
That one, I'm like, you can't beat the view there. Like I feel like it's the best view of the cathedral itself.
mhm.
Um,
And which are the neighborhoods that you say that are like bustling with energy and it's hard to sleep, but it's good to party?
um, Elborn is good to party. There's always something going on. Like there's a lot of bars there, a lot of little restaurants. That's also where the Arco is.
Mhm.
Um, where else? The Gothic Quarter. There's a lot of cool coffee shops there. There was this one coffee shop I like going to called it's called like Satan's Coffee Bar or something like that. um, so that one was good. Where can I not find this? Hold on, I think I need to find it on my.
I love that you're talking about Barcelona because I was just living there. So just hearing about somebody else saying I was born El Gótico, I'm just like, oh, it takes me back because
I can't wait to go back already.
I remember you, a couple of chats ago, you were talking about you like literally just got back, right? Like you pretty much left so you wouldn't get stuck.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to going back already, because this last month I was there, but I literally couldn't do anything. So it really doesn't matter if I'm here or anywhere.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Where were you staying when you were there?
I mainly lived in El Clot, but I also lived by Plaza Tetuan.
Okay.
I didn't live in El Gótico or anything. I didn't want to live there, so I lived like a little further away, which was so much better for me.
Yeah. There's just like, I feel like you can't like concentrate. You can't like, I don't know. You get tempted into doing like, okay, well, I'm just going to go to, to this place. I'm just going to go like grab a quick bite. And then you just, I don't know, that the city just like gets
I love it though. I missed it so much.
It's like intoxicating.
But in the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, definitely. Like I love it. It's just, yeah, I wanted to be more productive and I couldn't.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was productive in other ways. I explored. I did a lot of things that I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so the hotel is called Ula Barcelona.
Oh,
and they have
with like it has like the little eye looking kind of things on the outside of it.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been there.
That one's a really cool one. Yeah, I don't know. I love rooftop bars. So I'm always like, okay, which ones have the best views? There's also this one overlooking Plaza Catalunya. It's also a hotel, but
yeah.
I forget what that one is called. I don't know. There's so many good rooftop bars there. And the cool thing about Barcelona is like you have everything you want in that city. Like one thing that I had a hard time getting used to when I would visit other Spanish cities, especially, I mean, any other Spanish city other than Barcelona and Madrid, you're gonna have a hard time when you're hungry during siesta time because everything's closed. And it's, I mean, as Americans, like it took a little like getting used to, because I love snacking all the time. And then, our lunch and dinner times are a little bit different if you do like more of a traditional American time. So it'd be hard like getting something to eat. But Barcelona, Madrid's the same way. Like you're always going to find something that's open. Not everything will be open, but things will be open. Another thing with the other smaller cities is on Sundays, a lot of things close. The grocery stores, some of the pharmacies. So it could be a little difficult if there's certain things that you need. And there's just certain areas where you're like, okay, everything's closed down. Like, what am I supposed to do? So those are some things that, you have to just kind of get used to. But yeah, what I was saying with Barcelona, you have kind of everything you need because it is a bigger city. But then you could kind of base yourself there and then go off into like these other smaller cities. There's Tarragona, which they call the Rome of Spain, because they have like this really like cool old amphitheater. A lot of the city just has that really like rustic old look. It's right on the coast, so like beautiful views of the sea. I really liked going to these like smaller places just for like the day. It was a little escape from the hustle bustle of Barcelona, and such a quick like train ride away. A lot of these places are really well connected. What other places did I go to?
Did you go to Valencia?
Did
you go to Valencia?
I did. So I went there almost 2 years ago, and it was during the summer. What I did was I kind of did like a not a road trip. I actually used BlaBlaCar a lot. So it was kind of like a road trip. It just wasn't my car. It was a bunch of different cars. So I landed in Madrid. And then from there, I went to Elche, which is right outside of Alicante. And then I think we went to Valencia. So kind of hopped around a bit. And then that was the summer that I stayed in Malaga for a month. So Malaga is one of the bigger cities in the south, in Andalusia. And so that's also a cool spot to kind of base yourself, because it is kind of similar to Barcelona, where it is a bit of a bigger city. They have a lot of things that are open. And then it's easier to just kind of go off into like these smaller towns, like Nerja is like an easy, like 45-minute bus ride away. Granada is, I want to say, an hour and a half away. So then Sevilla is probably about 2 hours away. Cordoba is probably about 2 hours away from there. And then I also went, when I was in Malaga, I also went to Huelva, which is another like smaller coastal town. I'm going to butcher this because I always have a hard time with the accent. Got it. I don't know how to say it. Cadiz. I always butcher it because I forget where the accent is in there. And then you know how they pronounce the Z's differently, so I'm always like all messed up. That was a really cool city, and then I stayed at an Airbnb. So the host actually like picked me up from the train station, and then we dropped off my stuff, and then he was like, "Okay, well, what did you want to do? What did you want to see?" He gave me some beer and some tortilla, and I was just eating. And then he was like, "Well, I could show you around." And then we just like started like going off, and then we didn't get back until like later that day. He was like showing me like different tapas places. We went to the beach, and then he was telling me that there's like this big carnival that happens every year. He's like, "Yeah, you should come back for it. It's really fun." And so I was like, "Oh, okay." I don't remember when that is, but it does sound like a lot of fun. It was a really cool city, had a cool vibe. I want to say it's either the oldest city in Spain or Europe. There's some sort of like history. I don't know, something happened there. And I hate like saying like half of this and then not remembering what it is, but there's something to do with it being like a really old city and like having some sort of significance. But
it says one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities in Europe, Western Europe.
That's interesting. I'm like,
and they can find remains up to like 3,100 years old. So
wow. Yeah, because the Airbnb guy just like, he gave me all this history. He was telling me so much.
So you had a free tour technically.
I totally did. Yeah. I think he was like totally crushing on me too. I was like, this could get awkward.
You were with your friend, or you were by yourself on that trip?
At first I was traveling with a guy, and then because his family's from Malaga, but like a city outside. So then we our apartment wasn't ready yet, so then he like stayed at his parents, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna travel a little bit, so I went to like a couple other cities, and then so that was by myself, and then we met back up in Malaga.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, the weirdest things happen when I'm traveling by myself, which I do most of the time, and then I don't know.
Did you feel any kind of challenge when you went to Barcelona? And I know a lot of people speak Catalan there, because when I went like a lot of years ago, I want to say 10 years ago, I think it was, um, people were being really rude to me and my friends
Really?
whenever we spoke Spanish, and then even worse whenever we spoke English. So I'm like, okay, this is weird. And it was a huge contrast to Madrid. So that's why
Oh, wow.
whenever I went back to Spain, I always went back to Madrid because they made me feel amazing.
Yeah. That's interesting. So the first time I went, like, I hardly knew Spanish at that point. And I feel like because I was kind of like newer to traveling, then like me and Melissa we kind of like, we wouldn't totally immerse ourselves in, you know, into like the local scene or anything like that. We were doing more, I know we did like a night tour where we went around on like a bus, and now I'm like, oh my God, that makes me cringe even thinking that I was on a red double-decker bus.
Right.
And like, not to knock anyone's like, oh, if that's what you like doing, like it's a really great way of seeing the actual city, especially if you have like a really limited time, which we did. We were like there for, I don't even know if we were there for 2 days. I think we were there for like one night for sure. And so I mean, we were just like total crunch time. Actually, I think we might have done a day tour and a night tour. I don't remember. So I don't think we really interacted with a lot of people. And if we did, we were more in a touristy area. So it would be an area where like, you know, they're used to speaking English to people. But then these last 2 times that I went, I went about 2 years ago, and I met a girl who was also traveling by herself. So I think I kind of like connected with her, and we did a lot of stuff together. So we'd kind of like figure things out, versus if I was alone, I'd probably go up and like ask people. So I don't think I necessarily put myself out there as much either. And then when I was like kind of living there, I spoke more Spanish. I was going kind of like the, you know, a little bit outside of the city, or going to like the more like residential parts as well. And then just meeting people, meeting locals. And you know, I was there for a while, so I needed to get wax somewhere. And I was like, where can I get wax? Because girl needs to go swimming, and this isn't looking cute. So
Yeah.
so I found this place, and I was like, oh, like, please pardon my Spanish. And I'm like, you know, saying, I was like, and I was like, okay. And I was telling them, I was like, I need to get wax and do this and that. Like, do you guys do that? I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not speaking right. And I was like, it's this. And they're like, oh no, you speak really, really well. And to me, I was like, really? Like, what are you talking about? But I mean, their first language is Catalan. This was like, you know, it was a smaller business. And so since like both of our second languages was Spanish, it felt like, oh, okay, no, you're doing fine. And I was like, yeah, I'm staying here. I need to improve my Spanish more, and, you know, start, you know, picking up some Catalan. He was like, yeah, you know, you're fine speaking the Spanish, but it's always nice, like, hearing it. So I felt like I had a really, like, positive experience with that. But, you know, everywhere is going to be a little bit different. And I don't know, it's weird because Barcelona, like, I know they say a lot of people complain, or a lot of the people who live there kind of complain about the tourism, but at the same time, without the tourists, how do they make their money? Or, you know, a lot of them, right? Like, all those shops, like, I can't even imagine what it's like there right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I could talk a lot about that just because I was doing a master there and it had to do with tourism, especially in cities. And because we were in Barcelona, they talked a lot about that. But that would be a whole other topic.
yeah.
I mean, if you can share some light, please
Yeah.
do. We're
Yeah,
here to
I
learn.
mean, a lot of the professors are mainly from Barcelona or the Barcelona area. Actually, let me turn this on. I always forget that I don't have it on. Hi. Yeah, so they do complain about it a lot, and there are a lot of locals that don't like tourism, or not because they don't like tourism, but they feel like there's a masificación of tourism, so that there's just too much, and that the quality of the tourism that comes to Barcelona isn't the kind of tourism that they would like to continue having in their city in the future. So like all of the drunk people and all of like the people just doing stupid things, like they don't want for the future that kind of tourism anymore. They'd like a better kind of tourist to come visit, that isn't just throwing up and peeing everywhere. Which I get. I mean, if I live there, and I'd love to live there long term, I don't want to see that all the time, you know. So I do understand that, but hopefully I don't know, it's just I guess that's kind of, and I guess being there, I kind of also did see that a bit, and I do get it, because also living in New York, I've also seen a lot of that too, and in Paris also. So it's just, I guess, a lot of places are looking for just better tourism, and I think they should be more specific when they say that, instead of just saying generalizing and saying they don't like tourism or tourists in general.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I agree. I feel like I know what kind of tourists you're talking about.
And we might have all been there.
The spring break ones. The spring break, let's just break all the rules kind of person.
Well, let's just say Barcelona has pretty good weather. I mean, not year round, but you know, it stretches a good amount. And there's people from places that don't have the best weather who like to come down. And I mean, I would buy wine bottles that were like 3-4 euros, and they were good. Like they were better than decent. Like they were pretty good. So it's safe to say that alcohol there is cheap. And so I mean, compared to alcohol in the States, like, so you think about other countries that like where they pay more for alcohol, and you know, it's just a short flight away.
Yeah.
People could take it a little far and be a little bit disrespectful at times.
Yeah, that's one of the benefits of Spain. They have a lot of production of wine, and it is really good quality wine, but it's cheaper than Italy, and it is cheaper than France. So it's just the name, the difference, and the kind of grape maybe, but they produce a lot of good quality wines. Yeah. And the thing about Spain is that they don't necessarily export too much wine. So you actually have to go there and buy it and consume it and enjoy it. So, which I don't mind. Hey, I could take time.
I mean, if I was there right now, I would definitely be drinking wine.
Yes. One of the last times I went to the grocery store before I came back, the whole wine section was just empty. There was only like 10 euro bottles of wine. I'm like, I'm not going to be in quarantine, I'm not going to pay 10 euros for a bottle of wine. I wanted my cheap, nice wine. And it was empty. I was like, oh no.
Wow. Right.
So sad.
I mean, if you're in quarantine, it's like, that is like probably the number one thing that you're going to be doing there when wine's that cheap. So damn, that's hilarious. We have empty shelves, no toilet paper. They've got no wine.
Exactly. Like, oh, that is funny.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So you went in total how many times to Spain?
I don't know if it's 3 or 4 times. No, 4 times.
Would you say that's the country you will retire, or you just like it?
I don't know. It's so hard, and like I'm always like, okay, I really want to stay here long term, but then I want to go here. I don't know where I would like settle down at. I really don't. Like, I don't know. I mean, right now I'm like, when am I going to be able to leave again? Everything, like, I don't know, everything's always changing.
Yes.
I was supposed to be going there at the end of, well, I was going to have like a 3-week long trip and leave on April 6th, and then end up in Sevilla at the end for the feria. So I've been wanting to go there. And yeah, so that got canceled. So I don't know. I mean,
No.
I'll be there again. I'll have to try again next year because I
Next
do really
year.
want to go to the feria there. I went to the feria in Malaga, and that was, oh my God, just like, I mean, it's
Tell us about
party.
it. What was the feria about?
Okay, so I always kept hearing like the feria, and I know like a lot of different countries have ferias as well. Like my tia in Mexico, there's a feria in León. Well, there's ferias all over, right? There's, you know, every different cities are gonna have like their own feria. She would talk about that. I'm like, what is, like, a fair? Like a car? Like, what is this? So anytime I heard feria, I really didn't understand it. And then I think it was until I was like seeing photos on Instagram where the girls are wearing the flamenco outfits, and then you would see kind of like these little booths in the background. I was like, what is this? This looks cool. I want to dress up like that. So I looked into it more, and then I was like, oh, that'd be so cool to go. So then when I was staying in Malaga, it just happened to coincide with the feria. So their feria is in August. And then the one in Sevilla, which I feel like is like kind of the more famous one of Spain, is in April.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was there in Malaga, and I think it's like a 9-day thing.
Wow.
So, I mean, people will, you know, go as many days as they go. There's people from, you know, all over the world kind of going. I mean, especially Europe, right? Because it's just so cheap to fly in. Yeah, because I had met a girl there who was living in Italy at the time, and we ended up becoming like really good friends. So she was like, yeah, I've been wanting to go, and so I had booked this, and she did a little bit of traveling. We went to Cordoba together, so that was a lot of fun. But yeah, the feria itself is a big party, and in Malaga they kind of have like 2 different areas. So there's the feria that goes on in the downtown area, where, you know, it's just like beautiful decorations all over. There's people kind of dancing in the streets in their flamenco outfits. Or not the streets, it's kind of like this main, I don't know, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like their main strip where they have like all these shops. And so there's different, like, they'll have like a little stage set up, and I guess like certain hours they'll kind of have performances. And then there's another area set up where it's kind of like this outdoor bar area that has like a canopy. And then there's a bunch of different like bars and pubs and kind of like these outdoor areas that are just having like a big fiesta. They'll have live music, or they'll have something going on. So everyone's just like hopping, and that happens day and night. And then there's another area where it's like an actual like fairground type area. And this is away from the city. And I know that they have like a bus that goes direct. But, you know, there's people who like go and drive there, or, you know, they're taking Ubers or taxis. And that area is huge. And they actually have like carnival rides. But then there's these booths, and they call them casetas. And they're just like these, you know, makeshift little, I don't know what you want to call them. I guess they're booths. And it's a bar inside. They'll have like live music. A lot of the bars in the city will also have a caseta set up there and that side.
Mhm.
And so you'll see a lot more people dressed up in like the flamenco outfits and like traditional attire in that area.
Did you get to dress up?
No,
No?
I didn't dress up because I didn't even know what was happening. And then I'm sure it would have been too expensive to like buy something there. I would have liked to, but I don't think it was more like the locals who were dressing up. And then the people that I was with, they weren't dressing up like that. So I'm like, okay, this is gonna be weird. I need someone to like dress up with me who's gonna be like, all right, we're gonna look cool in our outfits. There we go. Let's go.
She's gonna do it.
The baby at home.
Bring the baby. He'll dance with us.
You dressed up for the
yeah,
beer fest?
huh?
You dressed up for the beer fest.
Yes, for Oktoberfest. Yes, that. Well, everyone, like literally everyone there dresses up. It doesn't matter if you're a tourist or a local. If you're 90 years old, they're like old people. They look so cute. They're just wearing their like attire and like dancing. Yeah, and that I feel like it's weird. Like the beer fest outfits, I felt like were a lot easier to find and to find kind of like cheaper. I only paid like 30 euros for mine.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't even know where to look for.
Dress up, like everyone dresses up, so they make it more accessible for people.
Yeah, I think so. And I got mine used. I got mine at a thrift store actually in northern Italy, and it was actually an Austrian outfit. But it's same but different. Yeah, but I would read on like forums, like people would get them at like thrift stores or get them online, like even like Poshmark or eBay would have them. So I felt like those are kind of easier to come by. And yeah, maybe I haven't really looked into the flamenco outfits. Maybe I should do that now for next year since it's not happening this year.
Right, you have time.
I know, right? Yeah. So yeah, going back to the Feria in Malaga, those people there will party until 6-7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, you're not done drinking? Like, you're not tired? Are we waiting for the sunrise? What is going on here?
Is there another event at 9 in the morning?
It was so bizarre. I'm just like, I could do the party thing, like, you know, and stay up pretty late, like one time, but like days in a row, no, not happening for me. I'm old and tired and I love sleeping. I can't do it. So yeah, I'm like, damn, there's just something like, do they have like some sort of energy that I don't as a non-Spanish person? Like they've got something. They were drinking something else. I don't know. It was crazy. But they love to party. And there was just
So
like,
at what time did you go to bed then that day?
there was a day I didn't go to bed until 7
Okay.
a.m. And then we were probably partying since like 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the longest day ever. So I think I went like 4 different times to the feria. And then the guy that I was staying with, he like went like pretty much all the days. I'm like, no, it's cool. You go. I don't want to go again. Like,
That is so funny.
it gets to be too much. And then I think for a lot of people, like if you're from that city, a lot of your friends meet up there. And so then you'll have like one group of friends who wants to go on Thursday and then another group on Friday. And then your friend Mariana is coming in from Madrid. So then you have to go on that day with her. And it's just like this big social thing where it's like this whole meetup. And so there's always an excuse to go. And there's, definitely always an excuse to drink.
They probably don't have a lot happening the other day, so they're like, we have to take a full advantage of these days.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's people like, you know, oh, well, this is my day, so I'm going to go all out. All right. Well, I guess I have to too.
Mhm.
It's a lot of fun. But doing it like multiple days in a row is a bit tiring. It's a really cool experience. So the downtown area was really cool, but I don't know if I kind of feel like you have to do both. The downtown area, it's nice to see like, you know, some of the dancers during the day. Like you definitely want to see people dancing or seeing some sort of something, just to say that you saw it. And but I feel like it's more about the drinking in the downtown area, whereas the like feria area is more like family oriented. There's a lot of people riding, and I don't know if it's like a family who like owns this, but it's like the horses and the buggy, and they're like going down. So there's a lot of horse poop,
Oh, wow.
like in the certain areas that they like ride around in. So that's the one downside of the feria area. But it's cool seeing like the casetas, because you're gonna see the casetas at like all the different ferias. You're gonna see that in Sevilla, and then wherever else the ferias are. That's kind of just like the signature, like, you know, this is where they have this kind of music, or this is where they're serving this. And so I don't know.
What kind of music were they playing?
A little bit of
Like
everything.
international or what kind?
Yeah, international. I mean, a lot of Spanish music, a lot of like that traditional like flamenco, you know, a lot of like Spanish guitar. And then this is more in the feria area. In the downtown area, you get a bit of everything in the bars, because I think it's more international there. They're used to, you know, they're gonna play like the Latino hits and all that everybody knows all the words and everyone's dancing to anyway. Yeah, I mean, there's a good mix in the feria area, but I feel like it's a little bit more traditional. You're gonna see a lot more people dressed up. So yeah, I don't know. I really liked it. I am looking forward to going to the one in Sevilla one day. So we'll just have to see.
And we're gonna look at your Instagram to be there with you.
Yes.
Hopefully one day we can go as well. By the way, I love your background with the luggage and the globe.
Oh my!
And the
this is actually, it's a record player, but I got it because I'm like, oh, yeah.
Wow, it looks really cool. I like it.
My little
Is
like.
that on your trip to Peru, that little llama?
Yes, this is my first trip to Peru.
Oh, so cute.
I love Peru. I can't wait for the Peru travel chat on Thursday?
I believe
Wednesday?
so. Yeah, I
You're
think it's Thursday. It's Thursday. I'm like, I have to open my files and check. Yes. Well, thank you for all the details that you provided. Did you guys have any questions for Jeanine? Chicas? Alisa?
No questions, pero avisa la próxima vez so I can go with you.
You're taking care of your other baby.
Dog wants to go too.
He'll be grown and you could take him with you too.
I'll take him. We were supposed to go this year too, but you know, same as everybody. Everything got canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you able? Did you cancel it, or did they cancel the flights, or what happened?
We canceled everything. So we had a lot of trips booked this year, but we had this big Euro trip booked because we have family in Spain, we have family in France. We're gonna go visit all these people and then end up in Tunisia. And we're gonna fly to Europe before flying to Africa because it's just cheaper. And we had to cancel the Europe one because we didn't end up buying the Africa one yet. But we just had to cancel everything because we were going to go bring the baby to see my family in Spain because he's named after one of my uncles, Latinos are my tío, but they're not tíos, so we had to cancel that. But hopefully the other trips, I mean, who knows, maybe at the end of the year everyone's able to travel again, so
yeah.
Yes, we're crossing our fingers.
I know.
Really.
Yeah.
We're all doing our part by staying home, so hopefully the more we do that, the faster.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully.
Absolutely. Tomorrow we are having Ellie from Truly Ellie, and she is going to talk about India. She lived there and she did some volunteer work there, so she's going to introduce us to that country, which I am dying to go, so I cannot wait to listen to her. But it's early. She's doing it tomorrow at 9 a.m. PST and 12 p.m. EST.
I can definitely go. Yeah.
Yes.
I'll
And
set my alarm.
Peru is on Friday, and that's with Yvonne, Latina Chick Travels. So it's gonna be amazing. I'm looking forward to that. And then we have right here, Ojos Extranjeros, Alisa. She's gonna introduce us to her country, Tunisia. So that one, I'm dying.
No one ever knows what that is. You know that I'm gonna say this again on Friday, or Saturday, so don't say anything. But you know that scene in Mean Girls where it's like, "You're from Africa? Why are you so white?" Like that's my life because everyone's like, and then I tell them like, "No, I'm Tunisian. It's in Africa." Oh, you're white, so South Africa. And I'm, no, just thank you.
Oh my God. So thank you so much, ladies, for being here, especially you, Jeanine, for telling us all of your stories about Spain. It's always good to find people that inspire us to like go out there and explore. And that's what we want to do with Latino World Travelers, connect everybody and bring us together and talk travel, right? Yeah. The privilege that we have to travel.
Seriously, I am always like, I'm really fortunate that I've been able to do this and, having a stronger passport than so many people. And, I never want to take it for granted. I mean, now it's like, wow, like we've been able to do so much and then we don't even kind of realize it until we can't.
Mm-hmm. Or until we see other people that can't do what we do.
Exactly.
Like just pick up and go and not having to deal with visas and stuff like that.
Seriously, I know. We're very lucky.
Well, thank you so much. Besos grandes. Gracias por estar aquí. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully
All right.
Bye. Take care.